Welcome back to Movie Club with Friends. So last time on Michael's picks, one was too boring, too many potholes, and way too boring. So
Not that really. Go ahead.
So it's only up from here, guys.
yeah. So let's find out what happens this time on Movie Club with Friends. This week was a me pick, a Michael pick. I picked Akira, which is one of the greatest movies ever made.
1988 film.
Yes. It started the 90s anime boom in the West. Little information for you there. So before I get into what I think, these are some things that little facts I got. So 70 animators worked on the film. 160,000 pictures were made for the film. There are 327 colors used in the film, and they made 50 of those colors for the movie. Like, they made colors.
Okay, what do you mean made colors?
They made the colors.
They became gods for a little while bit and made magenta.
And also,
So people went to the movie theater.
No. Okay, first of all, viewers' ears. No, but I don't know. I'm not a artiste, but they made 50 shades that apparently were not credited before the movie Akira.
also, all those other things you said, I'm not trying to downplay it, but it was just a bunch of like stats, and I don't know what to compare it to.
True.
It's true. It's true.
And then there's just stuff like
on to what Mike said, but the stats that the 70 animators thing, like this was like the biggest anime production ever in Japan at the time.
yeah.
Wow.
This was like Japan's response to a Disney movie, effectively.
Yeah, I think this was also, I read somewhere that this was also the first time that they had gotten the voice recordings before they actually drew the movie, which is really common in in America, but not in Japan. They typically do the animation voiceovers.
Yeah. So much like 2001: A Space Odyssey, this movie has been referenced 10 million times. There's one of the first scenes is like
The bike slide.
yeah, the bike slide has been done. It's done. It was even done in one of the Avengers movies or something. Like, it's just
There's a GIF out there somewhere that has like 20 different bike slides, and it's all based off of the Akira.
So those are my little facts. So anyways, to the movie, I'm looking at the thing. 10 out of 10, love for Michael. I love this movie. I've seen it a lot of times. Wow, John.
Johnny.
The things I really
Strong closer.
the things I really like about this movie are the setting and the atmosphere. I really, really like the relationship between your closing Kaneda and Tetsuo. I think their relationship is amazing. I think that's one of the reasons why Kaneda
Why do you think their relationship is amazing? They're really okay.
It's really well done, and I think one of the reasons why Kaneda was the only person who was really able to stand up against Tetsuo because of their relationship, because of their past. Everyone else, he was just like evaporating into blood. Where Kaneda, he loves him, and I think at some point he kind of like is scared of him because
He held back.
yeah, he held back, and Kaneda had like kind of he was like the big brother. He would have beat the shit out of him, right? I don't know how else to say it that I like their relationship. I just think they did it really well, and I'm surprised that you think it wasn't a.
I just don't know if anything, their relationship was really confusing to me because
They grew up.
I get that brotherly growing upness, but
Julie,
I don't know.
think about the atmosphere of this movie. This is like a harsh time. Do you see what happened when they went to the school after the incident at the beginning of the movie? Their fucking gym teacher beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
So the fact they had somebody that actually loved and cared for them, even if it wasn't like what we'd say like traditional happy relationship now, I think it's there was something more there than they were getting from anywhere else in the world. It seems like their parents kind of just abandoned them when they were little kids. So really, all those two had were each other for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's true.
It's a very harsh world. Like, it's after World War III, and they're like teenagers, and they're in a bike gang where they're like killing each other.
Yep. That's true.
I guess, like, I never like going first on my picks, because I kind of like just like commenting on what you guys say. So I can't. I other than like, yeah, I like the music and just how like legendary and epic this movie is and what it did. It's just great. It's a great time, but I will butt in and I will comment on what you guys have to say about it. And then maybe if people don't talk about stuff at the end, I'll say stuff, because I want to talk about the ending and stuff. So anyways, let's hear from Julie. Sorry, I can't use nicknames anymore.
Why?
Because you guys yell at me when I use nicknames.
I don't yell at you. So okay. So I completely understand why you like this movie, Mikey, because like almost immediately, I think one of the first things I said to Gabe, like when it was like the introduction, like you hadn't even seen any characters, but just seeing like the landscape of the movie, like the world that they were in, completely reminded me of Blade Runner. Like I was just like, is this an animated version of Blade Runner?
They both take place in 2019.
Yeah, and they just look really similar. You know, like it just immediately took me back to Blade Runner. And then I think so how I describe this film is that it like reminds me of Blade Runner, especially in the beginning and like different elements, but then it's completely transformed into Space Odyssey for me. Like it is a Space Odyssey ending.
Minus the space.
Yes, but like it's still like the same like.
What are you talking about? The universe.
Yeah, and also, don't you remember when Tetsuo like flew into space, Jared? Because I do.
Tetsuo did fly into space. So, okay, so what did you think the ending was, Julie? And I'll ask this question to everyone.
I think the ending was a bizarre string of images that don't really explain anything and left me feeling really dizzy and just like Space Odyssey. Like that's why it reminds me so much of each other, because I'm just like, what is that ending? Like I think for the most part, like the film, like it's definitely better than last week's animated movie that we watched, in my opinion. Like the story overall was like I'm not giving it a 3 or a 2 or whatever. The last one. The story overall, like it was entertaining, but I what can I say? I'm so like I hope that the next movie that we pick doesn't make me feel like I need to take some sort of substance to understand or enjoy the movie.
Don't worry.
Okay, thank God. Because like movies like this make me freaking dizzy. Like it just feels like a lot of style and no substance at the end. But okay, like I'm going to it.
At the end, Julie, but
yeah, but it just is. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I don't know, like they just went away, like they took them away to another world, another universe. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's the ending. Mm-hmm. But it was just so many images, it just made me kind of nauseous. The one thing that I did want to talk to you guys about, because maybe it's just my expectation for this was for it to not have as much gore, but this movie has so much gore, it's unexpected,
brutal. Rewatching it this time, I really did notice how gory it is. And some of the imagery is really gruesome. Like I can't
believe his little girlfriend died near the end.
Yeah.
When I saw like the blood splat, I was like, "Holy shit!" I was not expecting that to happen.
That was awful. What a terrible way to die, being squished to death. Holy crap!
Yeah, not even talking about Tetsuo's transformation, but like I find like the bear is really unsettling, especially when it's like bleeding milk. When he's in the hospital and he's having like the crazy images.
Oh yeah. I don't know, all that shit. Like that's what I mean. Like that. A bunch of weird images.
Also, if you've seen Afro Samurai, they used that bear head in Afro Samurai.
I have seen Afro Samurai. I don't remember that right now. But yeah, I'm just really not used to that level of gore in a regular anime film. Like, I know that there's like a genre of anime, I don't remember what it's called, where there's like more gore and like it's slightly more horrific, but I just wasn't expecting that looking at the title and
it's definitely
in the picture.
It's definitely a body horror.
Yeah.
It's called Attack on Titan genre.
God, I hate. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm just like, ugh, it just disturbs me. The animation was really good for the 80s. I really like lots and lots of detail. Like, if I'm going to relate it to Blade Runner, then that means it's gorgeous, and they spent a lot of time making it look like that. It looked like it was like real life, and I've never been a really big fan of like 80s animation, like the way they draw, the way they drew people, because their foreheads are too big and their
Tetsuo definitely has a 5 head.
Yeah, and
he was ugly shit.
Yeah, Johnny.
Well, that goes into his
I like
character.
this though.
I couldn't.
Canada is super charismatic, and he's handsome, and he gets girls, where Tetsuo
he wasn't even really that handsome to me. That's what I mean. Like, I just don't like that animation style very much. Like, no one in this movie was attractive to me. Especially the little old child people.
Why are you gonna be racist against the Japanese, Julie?
That's not.
We all heard it.
I remember a scene when I first watched it. The scenes that did really creep me out was when the biker gang beat up Tetsuo and his girlfriend, and they ripped her shirt off and then punched her in the face. That made me like really like kind of sick feeling. I never like seen women getting abused. And then and then her getting crushed to death. I was like, I'm gonna fucking puke. Like,
yeah, it was gross.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah,
but so many people died gruesomely.
I thought it was like not paint, but like some part of like the blob or whatever that just spurred. I didn't think it was her till I rewatched it. I was just like,
yeah,
fuck.
So I was like, I was thinking to myself, oh, that didn't happen. It's gonna show like 5 seconds later that it wasn't her, and they just never showed her again.
Yeah.
It was an awful. But overall, like, I think it was decent. I think there are a lot of bits that were way too long and kind of boring.
That's fair.
And I think that, in all honesty, I think that the characters lacked a lot of development. Like, that's one of the reasons why I disagreed with you on like their relationship, because for the most part, like I told Gabe at one point, I can't tell who the main character was. Like, I couldn't tell who the main character was until like the end of the film, because
there's
a lot of them.
2 main characters.
Yeah, but to me it didn't feel like, I don't know, like it didn't feel like I had a focus. And if and I understand you don't always need that, but for me, it like, I think it would have been slightly better if they focused more on like their upbringing.
So when Tetsuo's at the arena and Kaneda comes, Tetsuo looks like he's like happy to see him, and he's like, oh, you made it, and he's like, yeah, I'm here to save you and set things straight. And I don't know, to me it really gets to me. I really like it because he's not there to like calm him down, because he instantly shoots him. He's like, I'm there to kill you because you're fucked up and I'm ending this. But like, they're doing it in such of like this brotherly, respectable kind of way.
I guess I just didn't feel that, like, in all honesty. I really didn't. Like, if anything, like, their relationship, I was just like, why is Tetsuo being such a dick to Kaneda? Like if they meant so much to each other, like, why does he... Like to me, like, the scene where Kaneda goes into the kids' room and like first tries to save him, and he's just like so ungrateful. He's like, I don't need your saving. Like, I don't need this. I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Like,
Tetsuo's been living in his shadow basically his entire life, and now he finally has the upper hand. He finally has the power, and it gets to his head extremely fast, probably because of some psychological trauma with giant bears appearing in your room, and he's really feverish before that. So I don't know. I think he just had a bad reaction, and realized he needed to stop using his powers.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, one more comment.
I mean,
Something you were talking about before we moved on to topics about how you wanted more focus. I think the reason there's some focus on other things going on is because there's also the metaphor of what this movie is talking about, like what the metaphor of the movie is. And I think they had to actually show things like with the lieutenant, what he was doing with like the board and whatnot, and because that was important.
Please talk about that. Here, I'm rating it 5.
So,
it was okay.
A 5, and you liked it?
I think I probably
Write it down in the
disliked
thing.
it. I will, but I think I probably.
So the metaphor, and I'm not going to explain this super well, but it is basically like Tetsuo is Japan.
Let Jared do it. Jared go next.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, Jared, you explain it.
Alright, so the metaphor is, I understand. 8 out of 10, I like the movie. Basically, this is Japan's like reaction, how Japan changed after the nuclear bombing.
Yes.
So this movie takes place 31 years after World War III. I'm pretty sure the manga probably started somewhere a little after 30 years after World War II. So because it probably came out in the early 80s. So basically, it's the effect it had, how it changed like society in Japan in general. Obviously, it didn't change in the same way in this movie because World War III instead of World War II. Like I said, the society became much more violent. The kids basically didn't have families, so instead they had gangs riding around, beating the shit out of each other, killing each other. There was no authority. Apparently, there was some fuck up in the government that basically destroyed the wealth or whatever. So nobody really has, I guess, a lot of money, and then they're talking about corrupt politicians, and you got this lieutenant who's focused on the Akira, and I think Akira is some kind of like a metaphor for like the bomb, because he apparently went off at some point. And so he's trying to focus all the money and resources on harnessing this new awesome power, the power of God, basically, which I think the ability to kill hundreds of thousands of people in an instant is that power.
Yeah.
But they're not, by spending all this money on that, they're not putting it back into like helping the society.
Yeah.
You had people on the council talking about wanting to do things like welfare and stuff like that. The lieutenant's like, no, we need to keep focusing on this Akira project. And I couldn't tell if we were supposed to be rooting for his military coup or not, because I was not really behind that.
Yeah, I get.
Colonel, not a lieutenant, by the way.
Whatever.
I was confused. I was confused too. I'm like, is he a bad guy or a good guy? Because at the end, it felt like he was a good guy.
He is
because the kids liked him.
Trying to do the best he could, but I think his obsession with the nuclear weapon, the Akira, is what caused. Just he hyper focused on that. That was the most important thing. What he thought he needed, Japan needed.
So yeah, because Akira this project was to make essentially like unlimited power, in the sense that like they could use all this energy and whatever to like restore Japan, because they wouldn't have.
Wait, so what the fuck is the metaphor?
So okay, so Tetsuo represents Japan after World War II, and how it was. So he's very. Fuck. How do I word this? He rises up. And it gets this like extreme power. So like after World War II, they went from being like destroyed to becoming one of like the most progressive countries in the world.
I don't know if I necessarily agree like that specific, but it's something to do with Japan, the effect of Japan on after World War II with the nuclear bombs. The only thing last thing I'm going to say about the ending of the movie, I am pretty sure it just has to do with what Tetsuo went to that light, that new universe. I'm pretty sure he ascended effectively into a god. Maybe he's not ready to come back yet because humanity isn't ready for the power of gods yet, clearly, because he abused the power, it corrupted him, it basically destroyed him. He became a fat baby giant thing.
Yeah, that was creepy. Nightmares. I like literally couldn't sleep well. Gabe didn't let me watch like any nice anime afterwards either.
Yeah, that was totally me.
I was just like, I don't want these images in my head anymore.
I'm an 8 out of 10, and I like the movie.
Beautiful. Shit, I was gonna say something, but I think I forget. So let's hear from Jeff.
All right. I'll start off with the first thing I can remember, which is talking about like the character development. Oh, fuck, what was I?
What character development? No, just kidding.
Thank you.
Oh, Johnny, I'm not gonna like you this episode.
Fuck, what was it? Hold on.
You literally just finished the movie. It's more fresh.
I know. I had this whole line of what I was gonna say in my head, but then I was thinking like, oh, a good listener doesn't, think of what he's gonna say. He listens to the conversation.
That's true.
So
That's very true.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Let me think.
Good lesson. I'm probably being too generous with my thing, but.
Julie, what were you saying about the characters? You didn't think there was.
There's not enough focus. I don't think there was a lot of. I don't think there's hardly any character development.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hold on. I'm so sorry.
What?
I forgot to mention Tetsuo and his girlfriend. They had the shittiest relationship.
Was it even a relationship?
Like, I don't know. That's what I mean about the fucking. That's what I mean about the fucking movie. Like, did people care about each other in this movie? Was there the feeling of caring?
One thing I wanted to talk about was at the beginning. When Tetsuo, got his powers, I was like, "Wow, this guy is a dumb asshole. Like, he is not listening to anyone. He's just fucking shit up." Everyone's like, "Don't go to Akira. He's a nuclear bomb." And he's like, "I want to go to Akira because he made my head hurt." And I'm like, "Wow, that's fucking retarded." He's killing all of his friends and everything. But then I thought, you know what? It's probably like a mind break moment, and he's also probably going insane. Like, when I saw his eyes, like darken underneath, I was like, this is like his mind is breaking. Like, he's definitely going insane. He's not who he normally is. Different things are affecting him. Obviously, the situation has changed. He's not the same person. So I was like, all right, that actually makes sense that he's killing these people who were, his friends up until now, or at least we assume that they were friends. They're in the biker gang together and whatnot. He, was laughing after killing the one guy in the bar, and that to me was like, yeah, he's insane now. Like, he's for sure insane. Like, he's lost it, and he got it back when he became that monster. And then you saw his face, like, before he completely turned into the monster, you saw him, like, looking at Kaneda.
And asking for help.
He's like, "Help me." That was the first time he asked for help. Like, that was the changing moment from when he regained, his consciousness and who he was, and realized, what he was doing, the mistakes he was making. I thought that was pretty good development. We don't know, like, this. So this movie starts off. It starts off with us knowing nothing. There are people in these bars. We don't know who anyone is, and they just, it's just go, go, go. And then as the movie progresses, we learn a little bit more and a little bit more, as the movie goes on. And in the beginning, there was like only one flashback of them as children, and it was, I remember thinking, I was like, oh, okay, that they Tetsuo and Kaneda were, childhood friends. Like, that's their connection. That's their strongest connection out of the gang group or whatever. And there was only one flashback, and then all the other flashbacks were at the very end. And I thought that was interesting because it kept with the theme of the movie of giving you more and more information. Like, you learn more about the characters and more about the movie, more about everything the longer it goes. And I thought that was a really, really interesting way to do the movie. It really kept me engaged. I thought it was really good storytelling because in the beginning and the middle I had so many questions. I was like, what is this? Who the fuck is Akira? What are these powers? Like, why does this kid, have psychic powers? What do these powers do? How did they get these powers? All these different fucking questions, and little by little they're answered, step by step. And I thought that was the way that they did that was really organic. Like, there was no where they just talk, where the conversation is solely to give the audience like context, backstory, besides the flashbacks. But even those, the first flashback was like 2 seconds, and that's the only type of information that was given solely to give us information. Everything else was very organic, and we learned through like just situations that were happening.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that about the movie. I thought that was really well written. Also, the animation I thought was like fantastic, very unique. You could definitely tell that the voices came first and then the animation second because of the mouth movements and just like the facial movements and everything. I thought that was, once again, we use the word organic because they were mouthing, the pronunciations really well, and I really liked it. The faces, are kind of blocky. I agree, Julie. They didn't look the best, but it's definitely unique.
Yeah, and a lot of people like that style. Like, that's not really I guess it's not really like a critique. I just personally don't like it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. What we like and what we don't like is our own opinion. I think it's important to say.
I think it works with Akira because I know it's weird to say because it's about psychic children and shit, but it's like kind of really based in reality. It's not really over the top like an anime, so they were kind of going for a more realistic look.
I mean, this is definitely over the top, but
it's not like Dragon Ball Z or like Gurren Lagann. It's.
What are you talking about? That's fucking Piccolo. Those stupid ass, ugly children.
That's fucking Piccolo.
So I have two more things I thought about. Another thing to go with their relationship, their kind of like brother relationship. Like Tetsuo's a little brother, and something that really shows that off is like his obsession with Kaneda's bike. Like he wants to be able to take his big brother's toys and play with them, and he's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want...
his actual brother?
No, they're like orphans.
It's like brotherly relationship.
Okay.
So the other thing I wanted to point out was those little psychic kids are like not children. They're like trapped in their kid bodies. Like they were made before World War III, right? Because you see them with Akira. That's something I didn't notice really.
I thought that was kind of obvious.
Yeah, when I saw it when I saw it as a kid, it didn't click for me.
I definitely knew that. Can I talk? So just talking back to like, for me, like I mean, after you guys have talked about it a little bit more, I guess the relationships aren't as bad. But just to go back on my issues with characters, character development, and relationships in this film, like the psychic old children is how I'm just going to continue to describe them because that's what they are. Are like they also have like a really weird relationship because like they obviously are very close, like the three of them, and like, and you can see like they're protecting each other. They're like wanting to protect the girl or the woman, whatever age, and but then but one of them had left. You know what I mean? Like one of them had left abandoned and had gone off with that, like with the, like with the spy.
Well, I think he was more like kidnapped.
Was he kidnapped?
I think it was more kidnapped.
But it looked like that he was running away, and he didn't necessarily want to be found. I'm
sorry. Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah. I mean, like, whenever the little fat one finds the other little shriveled up one, whenever they meet Tetsuo for the first, whenever Tetsuo and the psychic kid meet for the first time, like, it's like he's trying to get away from them. You know what I mean? Like, he is, like, to me, that it looked like he was trying to get away from them. And...
if it's okay, can I...
Yeah, go for it. Explain it to me, because I'm confused.
What I believe happened is... those children are trapped in those child bodies, but obviously they're old. The girl and the boy in the wheel in the floating chair or whatever, obviously had progressed mentally. But I think that boy, what happened to him, not only was his body stunted, but his mental age was also stunted. Because if you could tell, a lot of his actions and reactions and his thought process was that of a child.
Yeah.
In the end, he was like, he didn't do anything wrong. We need to save him. I want to save him. But the other two were like, this isn't logical. We won't be able to do this or whatever. But him as a child doesn't see it that way. He sees, in the sense that he sees through his heart, not his mind. And with that comes, impressionability. He doesn't know necessarily what's right or what's wrong. So I think when he was kidnapped, he was unsure. Maybe before he was kidnapped, those kidnappers were like telling him all these things, filling his head with different thoughts about what the place you're in now is evil. We're going to take you to a good place or whatever. Stuff like that. And we don't know more backstory about the kidnappers and him, but I think mentally he was stunted or not, locked to a certain mental age. And I think that was not obvious, but if you look at his reactions to different things and how he acted throughout the movie, I think it was pretty clear that he was a child.
Yeah, that honestly wasn't super clear for me. Like I can see it now after you bring it up, but for me, like that, like it's just like, I don't know, it wasn't really clear. And to be honest, like if anything, that's something I want to talk about, because I'm still like that part of the storyline is very confusing. Like, what is up with the spy? What is up with the old child lady saying that what's her name? Kay was the answer. Like she's the answer. I'm like, why is she the answer?
So Kay is just like another Akira. Like how they found Tetsuo and they tested him and they were like, oh, he's got like the same readings. Kay's like, maybe she had even a higher rating or reading or something. Like,
that's how I saw it. Yeah,
that's how I saw it also.
She has the potential to be one of them.
Yeah.
But so, why was she with the spy people? Sorry, I mean, like,
she was just part of the resistance.
Yeah, that's just implied that she's part of that.
She was part of the resistance. It was just kind of luck that she's part of the resistance and that she came across the psychic kids.
Yeah.
I see. And the resistance was
led
bad by that little goblin guy. He's not goblin, but like little short guy that cares about money.
Apparently,
like,
his
like
name...
to me, I'm like, he was a bad guy.
Yeah, he is a villain. Apparently, his name is a play on words of like the Japanese word for rat, and he looks like a rat. So
he does look like a rat.
Leading them. I think he was financing them.
He was financing them. He was giving them information as well.
He was playing, the way I saw it, he was playing both sides. He saw a way to heighten his own political status and monetary gains through the insurrection of the rebel groups or what. I think he saw them as an opportunity to gain power, and so that's why he was supporting them.
Yeah.
But when everything was going to shit, the coup was going up. He thought that he was betrayed by that one guy, whereas the one guy that was walking,
Ryu?
blood, whatever, Ryu, him and the sect, I don't think they understood exactly what Akira was. I think they had an idea of who the children were, what they were capable of, but I don't think they had the whole picture of who Akira was, what he exactly did. Or maybe they did, because Kay did say that he was the reason why Tokyo exploded.
At one point there, Jeff,
so I'm wondering,
if you're going to be in the military, you should probably say the word coup instead of coupe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, we always got to get corrected on our pronunciation.
Just a little suspect.
Don't take it, Jeff. I'm with you.
Fuck, where was I? So yeah, I'm actually I don't know why they were kidnapping those kids if they knew, what Akira was capable of.
Yeah, I really
stop the research so they didn't accidentally create another Akira and thus blow up the city again or something.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. Like, to me, I don't know. I need a little bit more substance than this.
The one thing I'll say is, so this movie is based off of a manga, and it's only like a fraction of the story.
Yeah.
And
like
even the first part of like what they did to take the movie, they cut out a lot of scenes. It's a very long anime or manga. I'm not saying that makes the movie like more acceptable. Like, I honestly, looking back, like, no, that's a good question. I don't know why they were trying to kidnap the kid. I don't know. I still like the movie though.
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I want to talk about the ending. So, I think what happened to me was they had Akira, came back, and then he was gathering energy to make a new universe essentially, and everyone else that went in there became part of that new universe, and they created not a parallel universe, but another, a different universe that they existed in. And I think it's that, and they went to a higher dimension. I don't think they became gods. I just think that they entered like the 5th or the 6th dimension, because that is like the next step in like science or whatever. Like, we know the 5th dimension or the 4th dimension exists. Like, we know with the what's that fucking cube called? The Tesseract. Like that's a real thing. Like we know what the Tesseract's shadow looks like. It's from the fourth dimension. It actually exists. But we,
if you can exist in that dimension, are you any different than a god to normal humans?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like in the sense of God as like.
Yeah,
I guess there's different ways to define it, but I think they made another universe, and then they exist in that universe at a higher plane of existence, which I guess could be construed as God. But when they were talking about we'll come back, or you'll see us again, I think from their point of view, in their new dimension, they're seeing the timeline. Time, I feel like to them, time is no longer a linear thing. Like they know what's going to happen. And they're saying we're going to meet again like this. It's already begun. It's already happened. Like the fact that Kay is still alive, it's already begun. The path has been set. We'll see each other again.
Yeah, like they are the next step in evolution, and that's what what they're saying is Kay's the key. She will be a psychic that will be able to like control it and help humanity.
Cool. I just like so many assumptions, so many like conceptual things. Like I'll be like, I think those like I think it's cool when a movie has that, but I think this one just had too much. Like I don't think I should be having to guess why they were spies or why they were stealing the children. Like I understand.
Movie you need to watch more than once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it the first time like 2 months ago, so. It was still fresh in my mind.
I think it's definitely a great movie. I really liked the pacing. I loved the voice acting. I loved the writing. I liked pretty much everything about it. I can't think of one exact thing that I didn't like. I don't remember ever feeling like, oh, this is boring, or I really don't like this scene, or something like that. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 and liked. Because I wouldn't want to watch it again tomorrow, but I would be willing to watch it again, maybe like with someone who hasn't seen it before, or something like that. Not one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not the best movie ever created, but it is a great movie, and I can see why it has so much critical acclaim and has been referenced so much. It's definitely a classic.
Okay. All right, let's hear from Gabe.
Okay. Generally, I really like this movie too. I'll probably rate it an 8 out of 10 and liked as well.
Good. Very good.
And so much has already been talked about, so I'm just going to keep it somewhat short. I guess I'll start with this. My coworker and I, he used to watch a lot of anime, and I've been talking about the animes we've been watching lately and stuff like that, and he brought up to me one day Akira and asked me if I watched it, and it's like, oh no, I haven't. He's like, and he kind of explained it, and it was an older movie. It's like, no, I haven't watched that. It's pretty old. And we looked at the cover art of it, and it showed 2 people in red jumpsuits and a motorcycle. And I was just thinking, oh god, it's a stupid racing movie. I don't want to watch it. So this whole time, and I talked to him about Akira long.
When are they going to race?
I was like, I was like, because he was talking about how he liked it and it was good and stuff. I was like, oh, come on. I thought you'd had better taste than that. So going into this, I thought it was going to be something similar to that, and it was just totally not what I expected. And that probably helped me like the movie a little bit more because it was pleasantly surprising in that sense. Let's see. The old art style, like the older kind of old style, was kind of refreshing because I haven't really seen something like that in a long time, and I couldn't watch a lot of that. It's not what I would like, but it was interesting to kind of see it and how they did it back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Another thing that was kind of surprising, maybe it shouldn't have been in the 80s, but like, I don't know, I just wasn't going, maybe this goes back to the title or the poster for the movie. I just wasn't expecting how brutal that movie was and how graphic the scenes were. Like the most graphic scene is when that guy turns into the big pus monster in the football field, was it? The stadium? Is that what it was?
It's the Olympic Stadium.
The Olympic Stadium, yeah. It was just so graphic in so many ways, and it was both terrifying and like cool to watch because of, it was just, there was tons going on. After you guys talking about all the story, there are points that were great. I felt like it got a little slow. Granted, I understand it's trying to explain so much the whole time, but the ending felt like it wasn't coming fast enough to me. And I get it, Kanada's got to get there. They got to fight a little bit, and then they got to show what's his name, Tetsuo, cry out for help because he's met his match or he's actually needing help now. They needed all that to happen, but it felt so long towards the end there that I don't know, it just felt super long. I get it that it needed to kind of be like that for a lot of the story, but
yeah,
I was kind of waiting for it to end at that part.
The ending definitely didn't come soon enough.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Johnny,
I'm so excited for Johnny because I feel like he's the only one that agrees with me.
Other than that, I just thought it was good. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Beauty. Real quick, did anyone else appreciate how Kaneda was gonna kill him with a rock? Like it's
Kaneda's dumb.
they're using
Kaneda's an
lasers
idiot.
and satellites and psychic abilities, and he was gonna crush his fucking skull open with a rock.
I hated his arrogance. I'm just like, because he did it all the time. He's like, I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, okay. Like,
Yeah, Kaneda's
I'm
the
gonna do it with
man.
nothing.
I also didn't like, at one point, like right before he drove into the stadium, they were on the bonfire. He's fucking making jokes and laughing. Like, I guess this is a post-apocalyptic kind of world, right? Like it's, they're rough and tough, but dude, come on, your fucking friend just psychically murdered your other buddies, and now he's about to end the world.
That's what I hated. I hated
but sometimes in these situations, all you can really do is just laugh.
That's a shitty cop-out, Mike.
No, it's not.
Shitty cop-out,
No,
Mike.
it's not.
Yeah,
Also, to be fair, at the beginning of the movie, they had a motorcycle fight with people. One of his friends got his arm run over by a motorcycle. I think they're kind of probably used to these people getting slaughtered.
It's not even being used to it. It's like, okay, so like they're gonna go up to this fight. They're not focused on it entirely. They're trying to just like enjoy themselves while they have this downtime.
I guess I'd be a little more somber.
Fate of the world.
Okay.
You were cracking jokes.
I said none of us know what we would do.
This movie is far from a comedy. I think that's why I didn't like Kaneda so much. Like, he was not comedic relief, like, at all. Like,
I may not know what I would do, Mike, but I for sure should know what I wouldn't do. Crack jokes.
You don't know that, though. You don't know what the hell you would do up against a psychic child. Anyways, let's hear from Garrett, who's been ever so quiet.
Just, I don't know what to say. Everything's already been said, I feel like. Although there are a couple things that I had questions about.
So if you guys want to bring up things that are already brought up about, bring it up, because this, what it is like we're giving our personal opinions. So if it's something that you wanted to bring up, so bring it up. That's this whole thing, it's a look into how we think about movies.
One of the things I had questions about was where did Kate get her power? We already kind of answered that. Another thing was the doctor and that little wavelength graph.
Yeah.
What was that about? I don't understand why.
I don't either.
That was
why
first
was
of
that
all
even important.
That was one of the first instances, if not the first instance, of CGI used in an anime.
So they just did it because they could?
No.
Yeah, that's what it sounds.
No, I don't think it's. I think that's just how they did that effect, and that was just the device in this fictional universe that they were using to read people's psychic energies.
Was it over 9,000?
Probably. Pretty big explosion.
Yeah, I enjoyed most of it. I rewatched the middle of it today because I fell asleep last night. But...
You did.
Oh, John. Oh, John, you're making me so mad.
I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10.
Wow.
John was like, "You betrayed me."
I feel like that is a little generous. And it's probably biased by the 8s in here, so I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. And give it a light, because I think I might watch it again, and I probably would recommend just as like one of the classic anime movies.
I think for anyone, even if you didn't like it, I think it is worth at least a second watch eventually. Eventually, because it like Jared said, and I totally agree. I think it is a movie that it gets better with more viewings. Because
like,
I watched
beer tastes
it
better after you drink it all.
I watched it last night, and there were things that I didn't notice before, and it was probably the 8th time I watched it, and I loved it. I was like, holy shit, this movie is great.
If John notices 12 things, I don't think any of those 12 things are going to make him go, you know what? This is a great movie. Because the way I'm hearing John laugh right now.
Sorry, Garrett.
I don't think it's an effect of watching the movie multiple times will make you realize different things. I think it's more along the lines of I enjoyed that movie as a viewing experience, or I did not. And I don't think noticing things or understanding the concepts behind the movie is going to change that. Do you know what I mean?
I think it'll give me a little bit more appreciation for the movie, and it might boost my rating for it a little bit more. But no, I think that like in the back of my mind, I'll always still like have like this deep like distance.
Like I say, like last night was really the first time that I noticed their relationship, like Kaneda's and Tetsuo's, and like I really liked it, and it really hit me that time. That's what I came out of
throughout the entire movie. Tetsuo reminded me of Vegeta during the Saiyan saga because of his giant fucking forehead. Because Vegeta also has a giant fucking forehead, and once he gets his powers and starts to become crazy, his hair goes all slick back like Vegeta.
Yeah,
he's got like a receding hairline.
So
I don't understand it.
Did you have anything else to say, Garrett?
Yeah. So whenever Akira gets summoned back by the 3 little kids, he's naked.
Yeah. Well, he's not physically. He's not physically there. He is pure energy.
Well, why would he not be naked?
I know. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that he's naked.
I mean, like,
should I talk about
even logically?
Should I talk about the ending now, or should I wait?
Just wait.
Is there more to say?
Because after the explosion happens and everything, and Canada finds his bike, and they're on that little island in the middle of the lake, and then the next scene, they're on land driving.
Oh yeah.
Like somehow he got his bike. Like
I don't understand.
Like half a mile out of water, and
dude, it's 2019.
They were teleported. They were teleported away from the explosion, and I guess the psychic baby children moved the bikes as well.
Psychic baby old children, Michael.
Yes.
Yes, you just have to throw in. Oh, okay, all right.
and also,
John, I'm going to hit you.
Whatever.
John, you're too cocky, man.
I just have a couple of GIFs. The first one is, of course, the famous bike slide, and then the second one is the best
yeah, there you go. Even corgis are doing it.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, Johnny, close us off, and then I'll talk again.
Oh boy! All right,
Johnny.
Guys,
trigger me,
listen.
Please. Trigger me.
All of your guys' line messages about like, hey, are you liking Kill la Kill? Hey, are you liking this anime? Hey, what about this anime? Are you guys like enjoying this? You should check out this one. I was really getting into that, and I was like, hey, maybe I should get back into an anime. and then I watched
No!
Oh my god.
Johnny, watch Kill la Kill. You'll like it.
God, no way. My mom just screamed no. I swear to God. She went, no! Yeah, I swear to God.
She knows me, man. She knows it.
She heard you.
Yeah. No, but for real, this movie has like turned me off of wanting to watch anime for a little while, just because of it was such a weird clusterfuck of a ride, where I just didn't enjoy any of it. Like my rating is a 3, and I hated it.
That was me last week.
Guys, I had no idea what was going on the entire time. I passed out for like 20 minutes during the middle of the movie. I had to like go back and rewatch it because I was like, nah, I can't do that to like Mike. I mean, obviously, I need to actually watch the movie. But like that was devastating to go back and watch another 20 minutes of the movie. I just didn't get it. But with all of this conversation around the movie, I do understand the reason why like it has had so much hype around it, and like why it's been such a monumental like push for all of the different other animes that have come up since it. Like this movie, I felt like was more of like a stepping stone for all of the other animes and like movies today, which it's a classic. But classics doesn't mean that it's the best movie. Like, you know, like
just like Space Odyssey.
Just like Mike's movie, or Mike didn't choose Die Hard. Like, it's not a good movie, but I understand like why. Like, it's Jump. Like, it made
First of all,
other
you
movies
put your
better.
mouth.
No, I hated Die Hard too.
See, okay, like that's completely fair, but I have watched some of those like 10 out of 10 classic movies. You know, they always make the top 100 or top 10s.
Of course you have, because you've chosen 2 of them as your film.
And no, and I have not liked them.
But you've chosen 2 of them as your movie.
Stuff like 2001, Akira, and another one that I eventually will pick, Scarface, live up
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly as well. Thank you. So there's 3 movies that I picked.
I think
they live up to their hype. There have been ones that I've watched, and I've been like, it doesn't live up to the hype.
I think a great comparison for this is when old people are like, this song from my day is the best. No, this new music is garbage. This old song is a classic. It's the best music ever created.
That literally embodies Michael at the age that he
Are
is
you?
right
No.
now.
But I'm not sitting here and being like, this is better because it's older. I watch new things.
But the fact that it's a classic doesn't make it the best movie ever.
And I agree with that.
Akira is a classic, but it's a good movie, but it's not the best movie ever.
Yeah, Johnny, I wouldn't compare it to nowadays at all. You know that it was made in 1988, and that graphics are totally different than anything that's made nowadays.
Johnny,
I'm not comparing the graphics.
What you need to do, like everyone else here, you need to start watching Kill la Kill. You expect will like it. There are girls everywhere.
Okay. That's all you need, Johnny. Girls. Just watch the girls.
The anime isn't what turned me off. It's not the design or like the reason why it was made in 1988. It's just there was so much going on, different subplots going on. Like what Julie was talking about last week about Redline. Like there was so many different things and like genres within that. Like I honestly couldn't understand like what to focus on. Like there was a Who, there was that fucking like Dragon Ball Z.
Akira is
This
way
is exactly
more
everything I
coherent
said.
than Redline.
Yeah, I felt like I could follow pretty well, personally.
Redline was cut dry. Like, man, it was a fucking race. That's all you needed to know.
No, Johnny, you're wrong. You're wrong, Johnny.
This movie, goddamn.
All you paid attention to was the race. You'd be perfectly fine. You
Also, hey, do you think Funky Boy was inspired by Tetsuo's transformation? They look pretty similar.
Yeah, I guess I could see that, but
They both
why,
have
why
fat.
did you say it like that?
I'm just saying, hey, they're kind of one reference the other. No, it's just an insight, a little opinion. That's all I was getting at.
I saw a lot of references. I even told Garrett and Gabe when we were watching it. I'm like, I wonder if like what are the Stranger Things brothers who made the show? The Dumpy?
Dober?
Even Spirited Away, like it has the same illustration style. Like
that's
yeah.
a
Well, I meant
movie
more like how Stranger Things has like 11, and these ones like, oh yeah, that's 24.
So, Spirited Away, that's a movie I don't like, and that's always said is the best anime ever. I do not like Spirited Away.
Why? Well, that's another conversation.
Yeah.
So, Johnny, what did you think about the ending? What did you think happened?
I didn't read into it really, but if I had to, like, I was kind of like rewatching it while the conversation was going on, and I think kind of they all just burst into like energy, and like their like energy just goes into the universe. They're not alive anymore. I don't understand how you guys think that they rise up to a new dimension and become godlike and all that kind of stuff. Like the motherfucker just exploded in like atomic bomb. Like, wasn't that the purpose of killing Akira the first time?
Well, the fact that Akira came back.
Okay, so what
energy
happened was Akira started World War III. That explosion was Akira. And
he died during it.
And somehow there was some form of his body left, and they took that. Where this time,
much realism.
Akira and the little psychic kids brought him back, and Akira came back, and he did another explosion, and he thus created another universe. Because they talked about it before. So the first time, yes, Akira made his own universe. That was that explosion. The second one is Akira coming back, making another universe. He took Tetsuo, he put Tetsuo in that universe, and Tetsuo became the god of that universe. Those 3 psychic kids, they're dead. They sacrificed themselves to bring Canada out of the explosion.
I don't think they're dead either.
I don't think they were strong enough.
I don't think I care.
They went. They went.
I don't like the movie a lot, and I don't think I care.
They went. Oh, if we go in there, we won't be able to come back. Yeah. I believe they're dead.
Yeah, they had to
come back.
They went in there, they teleported him out, and then they were destroyed and killed like everyone else who were caught in the explosion.
I agree with you on that one, Mike. Yeah, but I don't think that the bad kid survived that explosion or implosion of himself.
No, Tetsuo did, because at the very end he goes, "I am Tetsuo," and then you see a universe being born through the credits. He became a god of his own universe. And I love how Canada is in this explosion, and the things that he sees, the thing that means the most. So, okay, Tetsuo's in part of this explosion, right? He got sucked into it, and what's going through his mind through all this fucking chaos and shit is, like, I guess his happiest moments meeting Canada and growing up with him.
All I keep hearing is Canada.
I know. I was gonna say. I also think you like the movie because the guy's name is Canada, Mike.
Yeah, that's right.
But like that doesn't make you feel anything.
No.
You guys are fucked. Okay, so
I'm so sorry, Mike.
No, it's fine. So the one last thing I want to talk about, I posted a picture in Discord, and I'll put it in the description of YouTube. You see that picture of the city and how like beautiful and detailed it is. So that is in the movie, and that is a background used when that rat guy is talking to Ryu and they're walking through the city. You see they painted this picture of this very detailed city, and you see like 25% of the picture in between 2 buildings. You see that picture. Like, that's just so much dedication that went into drawing and making this movie. This picture,
that's awesome.
You see barely any of it, and they put so much work into that one little piece.
That doesn't make a movie good to me, but that is awesome.
I'm not. That's what I'm not saying to make you like it more. I don't care if you don't like it. You don't like it. I don't care. I'm just saying that's fucking amazing.
I can appreciate like intricate details and all that kind of stuff, but my own opinion on like design is just minimal is just stronger. Like the more clutter you put into something, the more it's going to confuse the viewer. And so that's exactly what this movie did to me.
Interesting. Anyways, we've been going on for a long time. Did you have anything else to say, John?
No.
Okay. So next week is a Jared pick. Yes. So let's...
Jared.
Yes, Julie is very excited. Julie loves Jared picks.
I just want a fucking normal movie. Oh my god. Just like, Jared, this is a normal movie. I'm crying.
Union representative of people who wake up at 5:30 on Tuesday mornings.
I'm sorry,
you
Jared.
need to finish watching the movie before 9 p.m. Eastern time on Monday.
Sorry, Jared.
So this movie, I don't know if it'll be maybe as loved as some of my previous movies, but I don't think it's going to be reviled by anyone in particular either. It's a movie I've always kind of liked, but I haven't watched in a while. So we're going to watch Master and Commander: Far Side of the Wolf.
Master and Commander: Dark Side of the Wolf?
Far Side of the World.
Okay.
Oh, it has
Russell
what's
Crowe.
his name? Russell Crowe. Hey, it's a Russell Crowe movie. How bad could it be?
Russell Crowe!
I mean, Russell Crowe, like, you hate Ocean?
Never mind. Don't worry about
Did
it.
you say you fucking hate the ocean?
Yeah, Julie, is that a problem?
Like anything? I hate sci-fi, I hate westerns, I hate pirates now.
There are no pirates in this movie.
I know, but he hates
okay.
ocean.
I
Oh, God.
remember this
Well-
movie, and I'd never seen it, so I'm excited.
Say, what is the movie again?
Master
type of
and,
it.
Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World.
So yeah, movie club friends, please watch Master and Commander: Far Side of the
This
World,
is
regardless of your love of ocean or hatred of.
Yes. Comment, rate, subscribe, share it around if you liked what we talked about. We'll see you next time. Everyone say goodbye.
But
Bye.
Goodbye.
Hate the ocean.
John's good.